For years, somebody has probably told you to go easy on bananas. Too much sugar, too many carbs, a fruit to ration if you're watching your weight or your blood sugar. And I understand where that comes from, because a soft, brown speckled banana really is close to pure sugar by the time it gets there. So that advice has a point. It's just working off half the picture. Here's what nobody sat you down to explain. A banana is not one food. The very same fruit, depending on one thing most people never even look at, can either spike your blood sugar like a spoonful of honey or feed the good bacteria in your gut and barely move your blood sugar at all. Same banana, completely different effect on your body, and almost no one knows which one they are actually eating. I'm Dr. John Myers. A lot of the people I've cared for over the years were quietly avoiding bananas for the wrong reason, while they were short on the exact mineral a banana is best at delivering. A mineral that roughly 3 out of 4 adults in this country don't get enough of. 2 bananas a day, eaten the right way, quietly closes that gap. And the effects reach further than you would guess. They touch your blood pressure, your heart's rhythm, your gut, your sleep, even how steady your energy is on a long walk. Before you click away because you assume this is just another eat more fruit video, give me a few minutes, because it isn't. I'm going to show you exactly what 2 bananas a day does inside your body, day after day, what it does to your blood pressure and your stroke risk, the strange thing that happens in your gut that depends entirely on how ripe the banana is, what it really does for your sleep and your mood, including one popular claim that is mostly a myth, and the one situation where you should actually be careful with bananas, because for a small group of people, they are genuinely the wrong choice. Before I go further, one quick thing, because it's the reason I make these videos at all. Everything I'm about to tell you about bananas is one small piece of a much bigger picture. The handful of everyday habits that quietly decide whether you're still strong and independent at 80 or slowing down at 65. I took everything I tell my own patients about living well in these years and I put it into one simple plan. It has already helped thousands of people live their best life after 60. If you want it, the link is right there on your screen. You don't need to write anything down, and I would never make you sit through me reading out a web address. So let's start with that mineral, because it is the thread that ties almost everything else together. It's potassium, and your body is in a quiet tug of war over it every single day. On one side is sodium, salt. The modern diet is drowning in it, hidden in bread, canned soup, deli meat, and restaurant food. Sodium pulls water into your bloodstream and pushes your blood pressure up. On the other side is potassium, which does the opposite. It helps your kidneys flush that extra sodium out, it relaxes the walls of your blood vessels, and it eases the pressure back down. For most of human history, we ate far more potassium than sodium. Today, that is flipped, and it's flipped hard. One number should get your attention. According to the National Academies of Sciences, most adults should be getting somewhere between 2,600 and 3,400 milligrams of potassium a day. And based on the government's own nutrition surveys, roughly 3 out of 4 Americans fall short of that. Not by a little, chronically short for years. It's one of the most common nutrient gaps in the entire country, and hardly anyone is talking about it. 2 medium bananas give you around 840 milligrams of potassium. Call it a quarter to a third of what you need in a day, from a fruit that costs about a quarter, with no fat, no cholesterol, and essentially no salt. That's the lever. And the second thing that decides what a banana does to you, the ripeness sitting on your counter, is where this gets genuinely surprising. Let's take potassium straight to your blood pressure, because this is where it earns its reputation. When you're low on potassium and high on sodium, your blood vessels stay a little tighter, and your body holds on to a little more water than it should. Both of those nudge your pressure up and keep it there. Feed your body more potassium, and you help it release the sodium and relax those vessel walls. This is the exact principle behind the DASH diet, the eating pattern the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute built specifically to bring blood pressure down. It leans heavily on potassium-rich foods like bananas. Now, this is where it stops being about a single number on a cuff and starts being about your life. In 2013, the British Medical Journal published a large review pulling together the data on potassium intake and stroke. People whose diets were higher in potassium had roughly a 24% lower risk of stroke. 24%. Think about what a stroke actually takes from a person: the independence, the speech, the use of a hand. What you put on your plate is one of the very few levers you genuinely hold in your own hand there. I want to be precise about this because you deserve that. A banana is not a drug. 2 of them won't undo a bad diet or replace your blood pressure medication, and you should never stop a medication on your own. What the evidence shows is that people who eat this way, over time, tend to have lower pressure and fewer strokes. Bananas are simply one of the easiest, cheapest ways to swing that daily potassium balance back in your favor. That is the first thing 2 a day quietly does for you. Now, the part almost nobody knows, and it's the reason I said a banana isn't really one food. Look at the bananas on your counter. A green, firm one and a soft, brown, spotted one are, on the inside, almost 2 different foods, because as a banana ripens, something dramatic happens to what it's made of. A green, underripe banana is packed with something called resistant starch. The name tells you what it does. It resists being digested. It travels all the way through your small intestine without being broken down into sugar, which means it barely touches your blood sugar. Then it reaches your large intestine, and this is the part that matters. Down there, the bacteria in your gut ferment that starch, and in the process they produce a substance called butyrate. Butyrate is the preferred fuel for the cells that line your colon. It's one of the best things you can possibly feed the ecosystem living in your gut, and researchers at Harvard have pointed to resistant starch as one of the reasons a firmer banana behaves so differently in the body. Now let that same banana sit for a week. As it ripens and the skin freckles, enzymes convert that resistant starch into simple sugars. That is why a brown banana tastes sweet like candy, because chemically it has moved much closer to candy. Its effect on your blood sugar climbs right along with the sweetness. You can see this in the numbers. A green, firm banana has a glycemic index, which is the measure of how fast a food raises your blood sugar, of around 30. That's low. A very ripe, spotted banana climbs up toward 50 or 60. Same fruit. The ripeness quietly moved it from a slow, gentle food to a much faster one. So here's what that means in your kitchen, and it may be the single most useful thing I tell you today. If you're watching your blood sugar, or you just want steady energy without a crash, buy your bananas a little green and eat them while they're still firm, with only a hint of give. Once those brown spots show up, the sugar has arrived. And if you ever have a banana that's gone too far, don't eat it alone on an empty stomach. Slice it over some Greek yogurt or eat it with a handful of nuts so the protein and fat slow everything down. Let's go back to potassium for a moment because it does something you never think about until it goes wrong. Potassium runs your heartbeat. Every single beat of your heart is an electrical event, and potassium is one of the main minerals carrying that electrical signal. It is part of what keeps the rhythm steady and even. When your potassium drops too low, that rhythm can turn erratic. Skipped beats, flutters, in some cases a genuinely dangerous irregular heartbeat. The same mineral sits behind a lot of muscle cramps, especially those Charlie horses that seize your calf in the middle of the night and wake you out of a dead sleep. Potassium and its partner magnesium help your muscles contract and then relax properly. Come up short and they can lock up. I'll be straight with you about one thing. A banana is not a magnesium powerhouse. It gives you about 8% of a day's worth, which is a pleasant bonus, not the main event. The potassium is the star. But for the everyday business of keeping your heartbeat regular and your muscles from cramping, 2 bananas a day is a quietly excellent habit. There is a reason you've seen bananas at the side of every tennis court and in the hand of every marathon runner, and it isn't marketing. In 2012, researchers at Appalachian State University ran a study, published in the journal PLOS One, on trained cyclists during long, grueling rides. They compared eating bananas to drinking a standard sports drink. The bananas kept the athletes just as well fueled, with blood sugar just as steady as the sports drink did. And the banana came with antioxidants and nutrients the sports drink simply didn't have. Now, you're probably not riding 40 miles on a bike, but the principle is exactly what you want for a long walk, an afternoon in the garden, or an active day chasing the grandkids. A banana gives you natural, usable energy that arrives steady rather than as a sharp spike and crash, especially, remember, if it's on the firmer side. It's real food your body knows how to use. That's a far better companion for an active hour than a cereal bar or a cookie. Let me pause for one quick favor, because this is a natural spot for it. If any of this has been useful to you, please subscribe, tap the like button, and leave me a comment telling me how you take your bananas. Green and firm, or soft and sweet. I read every one, and it honestly shapes what I make for you next. That's it. Now let's talk about what a banana does once the sun goes down. You've probably heard that a banana can help you sleep or lift your mood because of something called tryptophan. There's a real kernel of truth in there, and there's also a popular exaggeration I want to clear up because you're smart enough to want the honest version. Here's the true part. Bananas do contain tryptophan, which is a building block your body uses to make serotonin, the calming, feel-good chemical. And serotonin in turn helps make melatonin, the hormone that brings on sleep. Bananas are also unusually rich in vitamin B6 for a fruit. A single one gives you around a quarter of your day's worth, and B6 is a required helper in that whole conversion. So the raw materials really are there. Now the honest catch. Eating one banana does not flood your brain with serotonin and make you happy on command. That is a myth. The tryptophan from a food has to compete with other nutrients just to get into the brain, and the amount in a banana is modest. So don't expect it to work like a sleeping pill or an antidepressant, because it won't. What is fair to say is this: as part of a calmer evening, a lighter dinner, less screen time, a warm drink, a banana quietly supplies some of the raw materials your body uses to wind down. If you struggle with sleep, having one of your 2 bananas in the evening is a small, harmless thing that fits that pattern. Just keep your expectations honest and don't reach for the overly ripe, sugary one right before bed. 2 more things bananas do that surprise people, and then I need to give you an important warning. The first is what a banana can do for a sensitive stomach. If you've ever had heartburn, gastritis, or a touchy gut, you may have noticed a banana is one of the few things that goes down easy. There's real science under that. In a laboratory study published back in 1999 in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, a compound found in unripe banana was shown to thicken the protective layer of mucus lining the stomach. That mucus is the barrier that shields your stomach wall from its own acid. I'll be careful here. That was a study on an isolated compound, not a promise that bananas cure ulcers, but it fits what a lot of people notice, and combined with the fiber and resistant starch we talked about, it is part of why a banana is so gentle and so good for keeping you regular. The second is a fact almost no one knows. That same banana contains dopamine. Yes, the same name as the brain chemical. Inside the fruit, it works as a powerful antioxidant, one of the compounds that mops up the daily cellular damage that ages us. To be clear, the dopamine in a banana does not travel up to your brain and give you a lift. It does its work as an antioxidant, inside the fruit and inside you. But it's one more reason this cheap, ordinary fruit punches well above its weight. Now the warning, and please don't skip it, because for a small number of people, everything I've said flips around. Potassium is wonderful, right up until your body can't clear it. Your kidneys are what keep your potassium in a safe range. If you have advanced kidney disease or you're on dialysis, your kidneys may not be able to get rid of the extra, and potassium can build up in your blood to a level that becomes dangerous for your heart rhythm. The same caution applies if you take certain blood pressure medications. The ones called ACE inhibitors or ARBs, or a water pill called spironolactone, because they can raise your potassium too. For these folks, a couple of bananas a day may genuinely be too much. So here is the clear line. If you have normal kidney function and you're generally healthy, 2 bananas a day is a safe, excellent habit for the vast majority of people. But if you have kidney disease, you're on dialysis, or you take one of those medications, talk to your doctor or a dietitian before you load up on potassium-rich foods. That warning is for that group and only that group. For everyone else, 2 bananas a day is a green light. Let me tell you about someone. I'm going to call her Ruth, and she's really a blend of several people I've cared for over the years, so nobody's privacy is on the line. Ruth was 66, and she had been told years earlier to cut bananas out because she was watching her weight and her blood sugar had started creeping up. So she banished them, and instead her afternoon slump got filled with whatever was in the cupboard. A couple of cookies, some crackers, a granola bar that was basically a candy bar in disguise. Her blood pressure was sitting a little high. Her energy sagged every single afternoon. We didn't do anything dramatic. I asked her to do 2 things. Bring bananas back, 2 a day, but buy them firm and green and eat them before the spots came. And use one of them to replace that afternoon cookie habit. That was it. I want to be honest about what happened because I'm not here to sell you a miracle. Her blood pressure didn't magically drop into perfect numbers overnight. But over a couple of months, with that one swap and a few other small changes, it drifted down noticeably. The afternoon crash softened because a firm banana gives steadier energy than a cookie ever did. She stopped feeling ruled by the cupboard at 3 in the afternoon. And the thing she told me she was most grateful for was simple. She had stopped feeling guilty about a fruit that was helping her the whole time. The banana was never her problem. The sugary snack that took its place was. So let's pull this together into something you can actually do, starting today. 1. Aim for 2 bananas a day. That's the sweet spot, enough to meaningfully close that potassium gap without overdoing the sugar or the calories. 2. Buy them a little green and eat them while they're still firm. That's when you get the resistant starch, the gentler effect on your blood sugar, and the steadier energy. The brown spots mean the sugar has arrived. 3. Use a banana to replace the worst snack in your day, the cookie, the chips, the pastry. That single swap is where most of the real benefit hides. 4. If sleep is your struggle, have one of them in the evening as part of winding down, just not the overly ripe one right before bed. 5. And if you have kidney disease, you're on dialysis, or you take an ACE inhibitor, an ARB, or spironolactone, check with your doctor first. For everyone else, this is one of the simplest, cheapest, most genuinely good for you habits I know. That's it. If this helped you see an ordinary banana a little differently, do me that quick favor. Subscribe, give it a like, and leave a comment. It genuinely helps me keep making these for you. Take good care of yourself and be kind to that body of yours. It's the only one you get. I'm Dr. John Myers, and I'll see you soon.